Thank you for that, Aaron. Joining me now in the studio is the Shadow Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, Alex Burghart. Lovely to see you. I don't know if you caught my interview with Alex Ballinger, but he was saying that the cancellation or postponement of local elections was a, quotes, non-story.
Well, that's completely wrong. And I've had a lot of correspondence from constituents in my part of the world, which is Brentwood and Ongar in Essex. People very keen for the local elections to go ahead, and rightly so.
Are
they
you
should
keen,
go ahead.
though? You're going to get annihilated, aren't you?
Well, look, I think we've got a good chance. We do. My local activists do a lot of work, but that isn't really the point.
What do you mean you've got a good chance? A good chance of avoiding annihilation?
No, of holding our seats. We've got good councillors who've got good reputations. They're working very hard. But that isn't really the point.
But aren't you being hammered by reform?
Yeah, look, reform are definitely a challenge in my area. There's no doubt.
It's one way of putting it.
Well, they're a challenge, but we've got a Conservative council, Epping Forest, and we've got a Conservative Member of Parliament in my seat, Kemi's seat nearby. But the real issue is that these elections are meant to go ahead. They're just part of the routine of democracy. And the government is bringing around about some local government reorganisation. When that's ready to go, there'll have to be elections for that system. But until that time, the current system's running.
But do you agree with my analysis that Labour are running scared of reform in some of these seats?
Absolutely. The reason why this is being postponed is because Labour is in power. It realises that its local government reforms aren't moving fast enough. It intended to get out of local elections that way. Now it can't, and now it's postponed.
But isn't it a problem for the Tories that nobody's running scared of the Tories?
I don't think that's true anymore, actually.
What? Who's running scared of you right now?
I think the government is.
Is it?
Yes, because
In what way?
we pushed the government into third place. And you were reading out the polls a moment ago.
Yeah.
And this is why life is very... we've got a long way to go, but you've seen the improvements that Kemi has made over the past year, where, big conference speech that she gave, where she said we're going to scrap stamp duty. Brilliant response to the Chancellor at the budget. Her personal ratings going up. And our ratings are going up, but there's a very, very long road ahead. But it's great to see.
I know, but then the pledging of scrapping of stamp duty, I mean, you quadrupled it under the last successive Tory government. So you're only ever pledging to undo your own stupid mistakes, aren't you?
Well,
it's the same with the pubs thing, right? You go on about the pubs thing, and she can be commended because she was one of the first out of the traps to support the Telegraph's pub campaign. We've been campaigning for it here on GB News, and lo and behold, the government's forced into another U-turn. But the reality of the matter is this started with the Conservatives, and I fear that you may never be forgiven for some of the mistakes you've made. So under the Conservatives, business rates went up in that sector by over 20%. OK, Labour's made it worse. But what they've done is given your bad policies rocket fuel. Therefore, why should anyone trust you again? Well, as you know very well, Camilla, there's a new generation in charge of the Conservative Party now. And well, some of the shadow cabinet were in the last governments. Look, there's a new... If you look at the people who are setting policy at the top of the party, including Kemi herself, there's a new generation that is determined to reshape the Conservative Party in what are essentially traditional Conservative economic values. And that means you cut public spending so that you can cut tax, so that you can get growth. And we're seeing a Labour government do exactly the opposite, and it's disastrous. I know.
There's nothing more important than keeping your money and your identity safe online. And with so many VPN options available, choosing the right one can be pretty daunting. But this video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, is making the choice easier for GB News viewers. ExpressVPN is offering up to 75% off, plus 4 extra months free. That's top-level security from just £2.49 a month, and you're covered by their 30-day money-back guarantee. So just click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code now. Remember, when you're online, you are often sharing personal data, so hackers can steal your information, your passwords, your photos, and your bank details in just seconds. But ExpressVPN encrypts your connection, making it virtually impossible for hackers to access your personal information. So why choose ExpressVPN? Well, it couldn't be easier to use. With just one click, you are protected. And ExpressVPN uses military-grade AES 256 encryption, which is the same standard trusted by the US government to guard their classified information. With their new tiered plans, you can protect up to 14 devices at once and manage passwords securely. Live chat support is available 24/7, and it typically connects you in under a minute with a real person. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to get up to 75% off ExpressVPN, plus 4 months extra for free. Start protecting yourself today with ExpressVPN.
And you're making all of the right points, but if you consider just how badly the Labour government are doing, and I've got this spread and the Sun in front of me as a case in point, you should really be doing better than you are. I get what you're saying. You're saying Kemi Badenoch stemmed the bleeding.
Well, actually,
you've still got a massive turquoise column of support here. 31% plays 23.
Yeah. So, but as
you can't be saying that you think you're going to win the next general election.
I think we are, and I think we are. And but to your point, I think you were right earlier, Camilla, when you said that we started from a very low base after the last general election, and actually the ground that we've made up in quite a short period of time is testament to the new leadership and the capabilities of the shadow
maybe new
cabinet.
Leadership, but you've still got some sort of closet Lib Dems in your midst. That's always going to be a problem. Well,
who do you think?
Caroline Noakes, you could argue, Victoria Atkins. I know, you've neutralised her. You've made a deputy speaker, so she can't voice an opinion. So she can't voice her yellow opinions.
That is a very strong interpretation of how the House of Commons works.
But how many Conservatives have we heard? Sorry, hang on a minute. Are you saying that there aren't lefties still in the Conservatives?
I think that you've seen that the Conservative Party that is in one place on the key issues of the day has definitively moved to the right under
I'm sorry.
Kemi.
Are you saying you've got MPs in your party? Let me put it to you.
That's true.
I tell you what I know is true, because I speak to your lot very frequently, along with Labour and Reform.
You know that under Kemi,
there are
the
MPs in your party that still warn about
moved decisively
lurching to the right. There are still people who warn against lurching to the right, still people who are concerned about adopting Faragian policies, still people that see leaving the ECHR as a red line. This is all going to come to bite you at the next general election.
Do you remember?
When you have these little closet Lib Dems in your midst going, I don't quite like this.
So you remember how everybody said that if the Conservative Party leadership said that we should leave the European Convention on Human Rights, the party would split. It didn't. And you know why? Because
people are holding their counsel because they've got 3 to 4 years to the next general election.
You're wrong about that,
People aren't stupid. They're just keeping quiet for now.
That Kemi was able to have a grown-up conversation backed up by evidence to persuade people to come with her. And that is a testament not just to her direction of travel, but the way that she runs the party.
How united is the top team? Why do we keep on seeing these persistent rumours of Robert Jenrick defecting to Reform?
Oh, I just think it's sort of gossip and waffle, really.
Well, it isn't, is it? I mean,
why do you say that?
Because we know that Nigel Farage has been actively courting the shadow Justice Secretary.
Nigel Farage is actively courting lots of people.
OK, and we have seen a succession of Tory defections to Reform, haven't we? Nadine Dorris, Andrea Jenkins, Jake Berry, Jonathan Gullis. The list goes on and on. It will continue to go on.
We've seen a small number of people, very sadly, leave the party. And that doesn't mean that anybody else is going to go, and it doesn't mean that the top team is disunited.
Mr Jenrick feels he was undersold on his shadow cabinet position and that he should have got shadow chancellor.
Who have you heard that from?
Sources close to. OK? Sources close to have also said he's never going to defect.
I don't believe it.
But should he be promoted? Why doesn't she bring him further into the tent? Why doesn't she, for instance, have him deputise for her at PMQs rather than you?
So I'm sure that Rob will do that, as you know. And I deputised for Kemi once, Mel Strye's done it once, Chris Philp's done it once. So Kemi said at the outset, I was the first person to deputise for her, and she said, we're going to share this out. And I'm sure that Rob will do it at some point, and I know that he will do it brilliantly. He's doing a fantastic job.
Should she promote him to keep him in the camp?
He's got a very, very... Well, firstly, that's a choice for her, but he's got a really senior job, and he's doing a brilliant job of it.
But he might want a more senior one.
He is shadow Justice Secretary, and we need him in that job to defend jury trials, to hold the government to account on all of the ludicrous decisions that it has been making on asylum seekers.
One thing I couldn't clarify at PMQs, she didn't really say either way whether Kemi Badenoch supports troops on the ground in Ukraine, or indeed Greenland, as is now being looted.
So, excuse me, on troops on the ground in Ukraine, we've said that we're not going to write the government a blank cheque. We haven't seen the agreement that was signed in Paris. We haven't been told what function...
In principle, troops in Ukraine and Greenland.
In principle, we want to see troops, we want to see peace in Ukraine.
Yes, we all want that.
If we think that troop engagement might help that. We might support it. But, Camilla, you follow the story very closely. You know that actually one of Putin's red lines all along has been that there will be no NATO troops in Ukraine at the end of the war. So we just have to see this in its whole context. We're not ruling anything out, but we have to be shown the detail.
You're holding your counsel.
Yeah, and on Greenland, what needs to happen, as Kemi said at PMQs this week, the Prime Minister should be calling for an emergency meeting of NATO to talk about the security of Greenland. President Trump said yesterday, we have to keep Greenland safe from the Chinese and the Russians. We agree with that.
Yeah.
The question is, how do you do that?
Should the UK be backing Trump on helping out in Iran?
I think if there is a way of removing this awful Iranian regime that won't lead to anarchy, that you have to make sure that the power, that the succession is safe for the Iranian people, it can give the Iranian people the freedom that they deserve from this monstrous tyranny, then we should absolutely be involved. We should be involved.
When are you going to unveil James Cleverly as your candidate for London Mayor?
I have no idea whether James wants to be the candidate or what timetable is for that. If he has, I've not been involved in those discussions. I have no idea.
I only ask because obviously Reform have unveiled Layla Cunningham, so presumably you need to get your candidate out there sooner rather than later.
I know that there will be processes in place to deal with this.
Should X be banned because of the grok distortion of women?
No, definitely not. Shouldn't be banned.
But you do want to ban, according to the BBC this morning, under 16s from social media.
Yeah, we do. We want to raise the age of consent. At the moment, I think it's 13. We say it should be raised to 16.
Why not just ban iPhones and smartphones for under 16s full stop?
We've said that we'll ban smartphones in schools, ban phones in schools. And it's a difficult balancing act to get. The research we've done has shown that young people are spending very long periods of time every day on social media. And this is because of the way the algorithms work. They're designed to be addictive. They're designed to keep people's attention. And there's an element in this of, look, just let children be children. Why don't we just sort of make it easier for parents to make sure that their children have access to this? We know the majority of parents want that. Actually, the majority of children want it as well.
Well, why didn't you provide for this already in the last government? I mean, you were working on online safety and all the rest of it. Is it just because Australia's done it first, so you think you can piggyback on
So there are definitely things that can be learned from Australia. And I was at a meeting with Kemi and Albanese, the Australian Prime Minister, a few months ago, where he was talking about his plans.
Okay.
And we certainly want to see how that pans out. We certainly want to see how it pans. Yeah, it'll be in the manifesto.
All right. Alex Burghart, thank you very much indeed for joining me this morning.
Nice
Lovely to see you. Thank you.